Yeah,
Yeah, like so. Oh, go on.
the only thing I'm really worried about is just the stupid fucking tripwires.
Keep your eyes peeled.
Hey, that round building. It looks like the TV station from your map.
Yeah, like so. No, I think there's just different types of cringe humor. Like like the Eric Andre show. I think some of it's very funny, but more often than not, I'm just uncomfortable. I'm not having a good time. Like that's the type of cringe humor I'm not usually into, but sometimes it's very funny.
Noah just got into Curb Your Enthusiasm. That's another show I've heard good things about.
Look at you.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Sitcom. Oh shit. I have a very specific taste in sitcoms, and it's stuff like Friends and That 70s Show.
Watch where you're walking.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Come on.
You know, this is not an area you want to speed run.
Okay.
And like I said, it's a taste thing. Like there are lots of people who find Friends cringy just with like the laugh tracks and
Yeah. No, for
stuff.
sure.
But I like Friends.
Thank you. I love Friends. I like sitcoms where it's like a group of people and like they grow and change over time.
Yeah, well, and the Office definitely does that. You just haven't seen that stuff.
Yeah, maybe I'll skip to
And-
season 2 at some point.
Yeah, like the season 2 premiere, like in my opinion, has a good blend where yeah, there's cringy, uncomfortable stuff, but there's also heartwarming moments. Like the show at its best, I think, has a good blend because there's stuff where you're uncomfortable, but then it gets just so absurd, you're just laughing at the situation, and you have characters like I said that you're just laughing at who aren't self-aware. But there's definitely that aspect to it, and some people don't like the later seasons because they think it gets too sappy or whatever, and that's an issue to an extent. But I don't know. I think it earns some of it. Friends is a show that, in my opinion, definitely has is stronger in the first half of its run and then the back half, but it never goes off a cliff, in my opinion. I think that show
It is
solidly.
It is definitely not that 70s show season 8.
Right.
I also like Boy Meets World a lot. I know that's for kind of a younger audience, but I think that show's awesome.
Yeah, I missed that one. It's just not the right.
Is Leah chick? What if she's gone by the time we get there?
I don't want to think about that right now.
We should.
No, one of my favorites.
That's because
when
your brain is broken by the cringe, Noah.
Yeah, that'd be smart.
You belong in the Asylum.
Probably blow up some stragglers.
Yeah. Well, if you don't find Chandler funny, I just can't relate to you as a
Dude, Chandler is like one of the big inspirations of mine as a kid for my sense of humor.
Me too. I'm just not as hot. I'm just not half as witty as him.
I want it in writing.
I'm getting there. Maybe one day. He's the glue that holds that whole show together.
Him and Joey both.
How do people get around?
It was just him.
Yeah, although Joey's, it's just that sitcom thing where he's kind of a normal guy at the start and he just gets progressively dumber over the course of the series. It's still funny sometimes, but that usually happens in sitcom. Like,
Boy Meets World has that bad with the older brother. He becomes like an absolute buffoon by the time they get to college. Joey doesn't share food.
Yeah, but I don't know. If you want to get a better idea, like my interpretation of cringe or when I think cringe works, like a lot of Ross's stuff over the course of the show, some people would call cringe. And for me, it's like I'm laughing at it. But that is definitely a character you're meant to laugh at most of the time, and I think it works.
I think what the difference though with like Ross is that like he's a good person making a bad choice versus this bad person doing something for attention.
Yeah, I can see that.
I've already listed my top 3, but not in order. Probably at this point, That 70s Show is my favorite,
Right.
and then Friends, and then
Taking off on fire.
actually, at this point, probably my third is Brooklyn
Wanna keep
Nine-Nine.
going?
Brooklyn Nine-Nine is so good.
Please.
I've heard it's very good. I need to watch that one.
You really do.
Yeah, that 70s show I like a lot, and I have fond memories of it. But that one's harder to go back to, but
So you get to that last season.
yeah.
Hey, our 2 main stars left. What do we do?
It's so rad.
Add this guy.
It wasn't like this, was it?
Yeah. Well, that
Boston didn't have a full-blown civil war.
that's something The Office does in season 8, which is why it's by far the worst season. And then the final season, season 9, kind of corrects itself and does more what it should have been
It's that way.
before that. And the last, and then it ends
More
well.
bodies.
So The Office is one that dips hard in the last couple seasons, but it does bounce back in it.
There we go.
So I see we're back here. Your
Yeah,
favorite spot.
I made a little progress off stream. This is right ahead of where the last death of the night was.
And we're not going to be sure if that was a checkpoint.
Not sure. Don't trust it. See anything? Oh,
No, 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 no.
what? How did that hurt me? Okay, game. Okay, I think we're out of danger. And so it should end up kind of syncing up from the last stream to this one.
Well, if I recall, there's still a couple more bombs up here.
We're not being subtle right now.
Watch your step.
Maybe Leah will come to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or they might be waiting to ambush us.
So the only thing that is unfortunate is I didn't get to the weapon station or the weapon upgrade bench when I was running through the part with all the enemies. So that's something we'll have to figure out, but it shouldn't be a big deal.
Yeah. I mean, you always know there's going to be more of those up ahead.
Yeah. And we'll leave this costume on for right now, since now we're actually making progress. But maybe every couple of streams we'll switch it up.
Yeah, for sure.
Feels empty.
I don't buy it.
I think we're past all the trip mines now.
Not yet.
Famous last words.
Tell me about it. What have you been up to this week?
Not much. Just rewatched the director's cut of Extras 3. Pretty excited for tomorrow.
Oh yeah, I should watch that.
Yeah, I'm going to rewatch the theatrical cut, the one more people are familiar with. I'm gonna try to rewatch that tomorrow before the stream starts.
Yeah, I'm gonna at least watch the theatrical cut. My days are all screwed up. You're lucky I showed up. I got off work and booted up a different game. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna veg out and play that. Oh wait, it's Thursday.
Well, is next week when you're taking a week off, or is that going to be the following week?
I am taking at least the Thursday gaming night off. Yeah, next week.
Okay.
We'll
But we
probably
still want
do
it.
a Batman thing.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
Fuck.
Yeah, because I've watched the director's cut of Exorcist 3 before,
Let's
but
get
I
inside.
wanted to rewatch them in this order this time, like watching it as more or less how it was originally intended, and then rewatching the theatrical cut. Just trying to pick up on all the differences. It's still like mostly the same movie. It's, I don't know, maybe like 85% the same movie, but there are those few like really notable differences.
Okay, I haven't seen the director's cut at all.
We'll get more into it tomorrow, but I like the director's cut. I appreciate that it exists and that we have it in some capacity, but I will say that I do prefer the theatrical version.
I'm pretty sure
That is my...
Blatty or whatever that guy's name is just like hissed at you.
I guess it depends on what you read, because interviews I've read from him, even with all the studio interference and mandates or whatever, like he still seemed pretty happy with how the movie turned out. The director's cut came out like shortly before he died and like decades later, so I really don't know how involved he actually was with that project.
Oh, true.
You know, because I think someone else found like the old footage and tried to assemble it, but I really don't know. I haven't done much research on like the assembly of that yet.
I feel like that's a Scream Factory thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
we'll salvage this old cut. Like they tried to salvage the Friday the 13th gore, but they just couldn't.
Yeah, it's nice to see that stuff.
This is definitely not.
D is being generous when it comes to that Friday the 13th footage.
I don't know,
Yeah, true.
but it's a message.
Yeah, the footage put back in for Exorcist is definitely better than that. It's, I mean, if you remember what it was like to watch movies on VHS tape, like that's what it looks like. So it's jarring, but still watchable.
God damn. You can see her intestines.
That you can.
The Seraphites in this, funnily enough, kind of remind me of Horizon Zero Dawn.
Interesting.
Just because it's kind of that same setup where like the world ended and we kind of returned to our roots. But these people are obviously more savage.
That's true. I've not played the Horizon games, but I have a friend who did. They're very fun.
Pretty cool. It's kind of like what if technology ended the world and we all resorted back to like tribalism.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's Apocalypse 101 stuff right there.
Yeah, and you fight robot T-Rexes with a bow and arrow.
Follow me.
If we live to see the apocalypse happen, I'm anxious to see which way we go. Do we go like the savage back to a roots route, or do we all just wear leather and just drive around in cool cars and motorcycles? I prefer the latter personally.
I'm gonna be disappointed if there's no robot T-Rexes, personally.
Yeah, that's true.
And I just broke both of her legs.
Is that graffiti again?
Why would you do that?
Because it made me
Someone else
laugh.
the WLF fucked with.
This is a greatly designed room for stealth.
Oh yeah, this is a really fun section coming up. Because yeah, this is our first real glimpse at the brutality of the Seraphites, learning about this other group. But the WLF are gonna show up and give us a hard time.
I did not mean to do that. Yeah, I mean, just look what they did to these people.
Yeah, they probably had it coming.
Probably. You heard it here, folks. Robert supports stringing people up by their entrails.
I think it's important to hear the other side of the story. So, Avatar: The Last Airbender, the Netflix version, just premiered today. I have not started that yet.
Oh, no. I ain't watching that shit.
I have heard mixed things.
I was out the moment they said we ruined Sokka's character arc because we can't have sexism in our show.
Oh yeah, that was like the first big red flag for me. I was like, uh-oh, I think we're doing this wrong.
We have to search all of it.
Yeah, no, I was like, you people don't get it.
Just
Yeah.
And like the funniest thing with that is, let's be real,
Stop here.
it's not even that bad in that show because it's a kid show.
Right. And you have to, like, I don't know. I don't know what kids are like today. I don't know how much culture has shifted, but 20 years ago, like, there was a lot of casual sexism, especially from children. Like,
Dude, I remember when I was growing up, girls were dumb, you know? It's just the way it was.
Yeah.
And the girls that I knew were the same way about us boys. Like, that was just a thing in my neighborhood.
So, for context, before anyone gets mad, in the first, like, 4 or 5 episodes of the original Avatar cartoon, Sokka, one of the main characters, is a little sexist, and the show is not saying that's a good thing. He doesn't see his sister Katara as an equal, he doesn't get her whole waterbending thing, he doesn't really see women as warriors, and he is humbled very early on in the series, and sees that women are just as capable as men, and he's like a 15-year-old character, so he has an arc, he learns a lesson. The show, and then for the
Robert,
Netflix show, they said, oh no, we're not doing all the sex stuff.
Robert, all you had to
That's
say is, for
age bad.
context, go watch the fucking show.
Yeah, but people who yell at us aren't going to do that.
Well, fuck them.
They don't want to do research.
That's her.
Hey, look, she's a human pincushion.
That's
Sure.
nice.
Yes.
Arts and crafts, I like
Nice.
it.
guess the universe really wanted her dead, huh? There's nothing on her.
That's a lot of arrows. Might have been a bit excessive.
Nah, we had to make sure she was the ultimate pincushion.
Mm.
Acknowledge me.
Dina.
Hmm.
It's all of them.
Wait.
So I've got some fun trivia.
Their fucking smiles.
Hit us.
You probably know this, but for people who don't, do you know who one of the first like vocalists they brought in to do the clicker sounds?
If I do know, it's not coming to me.
Well, her name is Misty Lee. I don't remember who at Naughty Dog like knew her, but yeah, she's like one of the first people they brought in on the first game. They're like, "Hey, can you just like do zombie noises for us, but like something different?" And she did it, and like she nailed it immediately. Like this just weird clicking sound that the clickers make in these games, which is very distinctive and unique. And all the other like voice actors they brought in, are copying for the most part what she's doing. And the weird tidbit is Misty Lee is the wife of Paul Dini.
Oh.
She's dead.
Would it have been funny? Everybody laugh.
I'm pissed we couldn't talk to her.
Yeah,
Eh,
she didn't hurt Joel.
might have made one or two people
Would've been
cry.
fucked up to make her talk.
Is it how bad
She
it
traveled
is?
hundreds of miles to torture him.
Yeah,
She
that's
held the clock on.
that's up to the individual.
We shouldn't have any more
Find
breaks
somewhere
like
to blow
that,
up.
but I wasn't about to
Really
pass up
stuff.
chili cheese dogs and fresh home fries.
Let's dig deeper into that.
Ah,
Confined to building is secure.
And I mean, like, straight cut from the potato and deep fried in the house. Fresh.
for people who don't know, John is a diehard Sonic fan to the point that he shares his obsession with chili cheese dogs.
True.
Chili dogs.
No, I'm, actually, it's funny you say that, because I am actually more of a Shadow fan.
Watch each other.
Mm,
Someone get to the radio and call this in now.
you're one of those people.
I am one of those people.
What are you doing?
Cutting them down.
Make sure the building's clear.
Do you think the original Shadow game deserves a remake?
Cutting them down gonna do now?
Is that happening?
It is not happening as of we yet. Well, okay. That's kind of a complicated answer. But to answer your first question first, I am one of those people that would buy a remake of Shadow the Hedgehog, the video game. I loved that game as a kid. So
I remember wanting it, but I never got it.
the reason I say that it's complicated is because they're not making like a full-on Shadow the Hedgehog game remake, but they are making like a remaster of Sonic Origins, I think. And including Shadow levels and Shadow himself in it.
Right, I think that's what I've heard. Does he get his machine guns?
I hope so. Shit.
Just let her escape!
Like, I think Sonic 1 is, the movie is okay. I think Sonic 2 is like an improvement in some ways and worse in others. I really want to see 3 because they're doing my boy.
That's true. Have you heard the rumored casting voice?
Hayden Christensen, right?
Yep, I love that choice. I think that'll be interesting.
It would definitely be interesting.
I just want him to get more work, like outside of Star Wars. You know, I'm glad he's back and people are embracing him more, but I don't want him to be like just stuck playing Anakin again. Like I want to see him in other things.
Me too, yeah. And I don't know how he would do as a voice actor, which is interesting.
Right, but depending on the tone, it could work.
No, I mean,
Let's
I'd be curious to see it. I wouldn't say no.
Yeah, I still need to watch the second one. I've generally heard it's better than the first one. You just need to cut like 45 minutes out of it.
There is a very long section in the middle towards the end that you could cut out, and that movie would be 10 times better.
Come on.
Yeah, that's about what I've heard.
But I'm also not a Sonic guy. I've only played the GameCube games, Adventure 2, Heroes, and Shadow. So Shadow the Hedgehog is kind of where my interest begins and ends with Sonic. I have Sonic Frontiers, but I haven't gotten around to playing it yet. I'd like to go through Sonic X, the anime, because I remember that from back in the day doing a pretty good Shadow arc.
Oh, nice. I've never seen any of that stuff. I've seen the 2 Sonic cartoons from the 90s, but nothing really beyond that.
And then Netflix has a new show, which I guess also adapts Shadow.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, did Netflix also do that previous show? Remember that? What was it? What was it? Sonic Boom? Where they had like the game and the cartoon, and both were failures.
Yeah. Do you remember what console Sonic Boom launched on?
Oh god, was that like the Wii U or something?
It was the Wii U.
I nailed it.
Oh wait, no, that's not Netflix. That's Cartoon Network.
Oh, okay.
Dude, those are some of the worst Sonic designs I have ever seen.
Oh yeah. You know, did he get a scarf?
He got a scarf. Knuckles is like 10 feet tall for some reason.
Right. Well, he's Chad Knuckles. That was, you know, you had to beef him up because Knuckles was making a comeback at the time.
Their take on Knuckles just is, isn't he dumb?
Okay.
He's no Ugandan Knuckles, that's for sure.
I mean, Ugandan Knuckles is peak.
But that's just a fact.
Like, I know people got sick of that meme, but I've never gotten sick of that meme.
This is Dewey.
I will show you Dewey, my brother.
We gotta keep moving.
But I also don't like. I obviously I'm like knowledgeable about memes and like I look at them, but I also don't look at memes 24/7. I don't burn out on them.
True. I definitely did. When I was at high school, I had iFunny. I had that app for a couple of years.
I
and that's
still
where I
have
got
that
most of my memes. I think I lost it when I switched phones, or I finally just got rid of it or something. I don't think it's around anymore unless they brought it back.
No, it's still around. You can install it now.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I thought it was taken off the App Store or something, but I could be wrong. There were some where I did hit that point was, I think I'm outgrowing this, and these are too repetitive, and alright.
The only meme
think
that
I've
I've
seen all
ever
the good
gotten
ones.
sick of is the Morbid Time memes.
Sure.
And I think that's just because I'm in 2 different Geekvolution Discords, and certain people just wouldn't shut the fuck up about it. So real quick, on a Last of Us related note, I'm just a sucker for red lighting.
Heads up by the train.
Oh, right? Anything like in the dark with flares, like obviously this makes me think of the climax of the Batman. Just
Yeah.
wanting, like, I love that lighting. It's great. Yeah, red has never been my favorite color, but I've always enjoyed like the way that color is used in settings like this. If that makes any sense.
It is my second favorite color. Shit.
Sounds like we need to do a color tier list.
Black is number 1.
Yeah, like my favorite color has always been green, but I can't like immediately like name a lot of like characters or things where it's like, oh, like that's why like it's.
Yeah,
Don't
when I
understand
was younger, I had that because I was obsessed with the Green Ranger.
Sure.
Specifically, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Green Ranger.
Dina.
Come on, come on!
Let's go.
Go, go, go! You like how I got out of there without like only killing one person?
Sure. Well, even in the previous section, before we got in the subway, I was surprised how quickly you got out of there. There are sections like that where you can just kind of, like, if you know where you're going, you can get out of there pretty quick. But every time I've played this game, I usually end up killing everybody,
Oh yeah.
make it harder on myself.
I've just played too many survival horror games that rely on saving resources for big moments.
True.
That it's almost like muscle memory.
Speaking of that, I want to bring this up in case I never forget. In case I
If
never
you
remember.
forget.
Sure, quote me on that. You have played all the way through Last of Us Part 1, correct?
Multiple times.
And the remaster before that. On my last playthrough of the remaster, I had this really weird moment. It was near the end during the subway section in that game before you get to the Fireflies, when there were like no infected.
Weird.
And I was playing it on the same difficulty I'd always played it before and on the PS3 version of the game. So that was like my most recent playthrough of that, where I was like, is this a glitch? Did they change this? Like, I couldn't remember, and I'm curious how that played in part 1. But if it was a glitch, it was a weird glitch, because there was that momentary moment of relief, like, oh hey, they're not here, that's awesome. And that's like, oh, that section's kind of fun though. And that's like,
Are you talking about the section where like you can walk in, there's like a line of runners that you can take out, and then you go into the big room and there's like 2 bloaters?
yeah, there's like 3 bloaters, like it's in the subway.
No,
Or,
they
like-
they didn't change that. You just had a glitch.
Yeah, that was bizarre. Like, it was weird because everything else played normally. It was just like there were just no infected in that section.
You ready to hear some misery? Try doing that on Survivor difficulty.
Good point.
I was there a while. I know that section like the back of my hand.
Yeah. Well, on previous playthroughs of it, I just got a good like handle on it, just like where to use Molotov cocktails and arrows and stuff like that. It's a pretty fun section if you know what you're doing, but if you're playing it on the highest difficulty, yeah, I imagine that's a nightmare.
Yeah. Because you know how you use Molotov cocktails and stuff to get through the bloaters? Well, on Survivor difficulty, you don't have that shit.
Oh, damn.
No, when they say resources can be scarce, they mean they are fucking scarce. That shit was harder than Resident Evil on hardcore mode. And Resident Evil on hardcore mode requires a physical object to save.